Hello, it's me, French Ted, and we are here for episode number 12, I believe, week 2 of June. God, where are the weeks going? A couple of weeks away from New Japan Forbidden Door, which is very, very exciting. I'm going to have to try and think about what we're even doing for that because, yeah, it's going to be an interesting show. I think it will be a mixture of AEW only matches with a couple of New Japan marquee matches. I'm just going to kind of do my own thing with it and not be as strict as they maybe are in real life. Because at the end of the day, I'm booking AEW now, not them. But yeah, there are no backstage incidents this week. Seems to be when you do a brand split and Sting isn't in Dynamite now. He's not bringing anyone to Wrestler Court. So yeah. We're in the northwest today because we haven't been here before, so we're expanding our horizon, and we are at the Alaska Airlines Center. Yeah, let's get straight into AEW Dynamite, and here we are in the pre-show. Before we dive into any of the pre-show matches, I just want to confirm a few things that I'm just gonna start doing, so that you guys are aware. Future signings. So, for example, there's a couple of WWE talent that have signed with us and are on their way. You obviously know about Samantha DeMartin, which is Indy Hartwell, and you know that we were bidding for Sami Zayn and Omos. I'm not going to reveal if either signed, if both signed, if neither signed, if I signed someone new. I think from now on I'm going to try and keep signings a secret, just so that when they appear on the shows, it's a bit more, whoa, when did that happen? So I'm going to start doing that. Unless you like to see I'm going to go for this person, this is how much I'm offering, the back and forth, let me know. I do kind of bulk record ahead of time though, so by the time you let me know, I might already be like 4, 5, 6 episodes ahead. But as soon as I do get that feedback, I'll make changes. Also, we will not be showing Rampage anymore unless something crazy happens in an episode of Rampage. I'm just gonna skip them, and at the end of the month or maybe post pay-per-view, I'll just run through the last 4 weeks of Rampage. So yeah, because I feel like they just waste time, they don't add any value to the show. Obviously I was doing the Rampage Garcia thing earlier, but Garcia's now not going to be on Rampage anymore because he's a big boy now. But yeah, enough talking, enough rambling. Here we are with our first pre-show match, which is Dralistico versus Jeff Hardy. And about that had decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. Dralistico defeats Jeff Hardy in 7:32 with an incineration knee. Oh, that sounds deadly. 55 rating, not bad. Dralistico with a 50, Hardy with a 55. They have great chemistry, so that is great to see. Can't see myself putting these two in too many one-on-ones, but it's good to see that they did well, they did a good job, and they've opened the pre-show with a solid win. Following this is the returning Paige Van Zant. She was gone for all but 4 days in developmental, and now she's back. Paige Van Zant gets a win against Santana Garrett in 8:48 by pinfall. Paige Van Zant with a 37, not the best, but it'll do. And Santana Garrett with a 41. Awesome. I think we've got one more pre-show match. Yes, so in a pre-show match, the TMDK, so our newest tag team signings of Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste, defeat the Butcher and the Blade in 11:24. So what a debut from them. And they win with their Thunder Valley, which is their signature tag team move. 49 rated, not the best. They both got their old school face gimmicks coming over as great. And the Butcher has sustained a broken toe. How the hell did he manage that? Chavo, our road agent. And then our final segment before the show starts, Renee announces via a Twitter video or something that Bryan, stop that, Ted. Bryan Danielson will open the show or begin the show with an open challenge. So taking inspiration from being proved wrong in the ring by Adam Cole, Bryan is keen to find out who else can potentially prove him wrong, that he believes the entire AEW roster are amateurs, or so he thought. And that takes us into our opening segment, which of course is Bryan Danielson coming out on his own, interestingly, And he just grabs the mic quickly and just says, "No, there's no Blackpool Combat Club. It's just me and whoever wants to step up and earn my respect." And he just puts the mic down and just does a few stretches and just waits for someone to come out. And who comes out? But it's our boy Blake Christian, and oh my goodness, an 80 rated match. I mean, it is Bryan Danielson one-on-one with someone. He could be one-on-one with a doll and he'd get a great match. But good old Blake putting in the numbers. So in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Bryan Danielson, of course, he defeats Blake Christian with the cattle mutilation. Just shy of 16 minutes from Blakey boy. Nice one. Bryan Danielson with an 87, my goodness, and Blake with a 56, which is fine. I think the best he's got is around 60, so we'll take that. Got the crowd hotter. Blake, did he do enough to earn Bryan's respect? Let's find out. Bryan celebrates with Blake Christian, so it seems like Blake Christian has earned a pat on the back from Bryan, which is very Blackpool Combat Club like. So it'd be amazing to see how Moxley, Claudio and Wheeler are feeling right now. But great start to the show, great opening match, you love to see it. Following this though, we do have some tag team action, and it's a new team, a team that has been teased over the last week, especially in our emails with the click building. It's the new team of Hook and Hobbs. And in a decent match, Hook and Hobbs win against Ortiz and Santana in 11:29 when Hobbs pins Ortiz with a frog splash. My big boy getting up to the top rope and frog splash him. Hook with a 49. He's getting better. Powerhouse was a 53. Although Hook seemed off his game, so a 49 is pretty good. And then Santana and Ortiz are pretty consistent. 62 rated match. Still the flavor of the month, Hook is, so we'll look to push on with that. Taz was obviously on commentary, but he just spent the whole time hyping up Hook, obviously, and talking about how much of a huge talent Hobbs is and he's going to be a future star, etc. 60 rated match and a great debut win for this new tag team. Following this, Miro comes out, but he's not alone. Of course, he is back with his wife and manager, not Lana. We don't do Lana here. Lana who? CJ Perry, using her real name, or as real as you're going to get. And he comes back and he says, "This is why I've been losing in AEW. This is why I haven't had that drive, that purpose. Is because I didn't have my wife with me." And in this promo, he decides to refer to her as his mojo. So he has his mojo back, aka my wife. Little Borat thing for you there. She's still got her ravishing gimmick, the high pony. You love to see it. She's a beautiful woman. On Miro's arm in more casual attire, not in any business wear or anything like that. Miro's superb working without a script. The man's great at promos, so we're going to have to keep doing that. And this is before his match, so he's requested from Tony Khan since CJ Perry has joined AEW. He was like, "I want a match. Like, I'm feeling good. This feels right." And we figured we'd throw him into a relatively tough match to begin with. Someone who got a great win against Matt Hardy, I believe, in the pre-show last week. And it is the android, Alex Coughlin. So in a bout that had decent wrestling, but not a great deal of heat, Miro defeats Coughlin in 9:19 by submission with the game over, which I believe is his camel clutch. 63 rated match, not bad, especially because Coughlin's got piss poor popularity and such in the US. We're trying to build this boy up. So Miro got a 74 performance. That's very good. And Coughlin with a 31. Of course, Miro and CJ Perry have good chemistry, and Miro looked good out there. So this is a great match for Miro all round. So it looks like he's definitely got his mojo back. With a decent win against Coughlin, who I would imagine put up a good fight as well. I don't imagine he's someone to roll over easily. Following this, we've got the Acclaimed coming out, and they are acclaiming that they should be number one contenders for the tag team titles, but they're not the only tag team who's got a win recently that also wants a shot at the belts. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager come out, the friends equals, that's what they are now. and say, whoa, we had a pretty impressive and convincing win last week as well. Who's to say you guys are at the top of the queue? In which Alex Abrahentes, Ray Phoenix, and Penta come out. Alex leading the talk, to be fair, because we don't really hear much from these guys. Just saying, did you not see the masterclass that was put on last week in the main event? If anyone should be the number one contenders, it's the Lucha Brothers. So they're all kind of, talking over each other, things like that. And it kind of gets to the point where they're all just bickering, like it's just noise now. In which TK comes out and goes, "Whoa, guys, chill out. How about we settle this the old-fashioned way? Right now, seeing as though all of you seem to be in ring gear, let's have a 3-way tag team match. Winner will face FTR for the world tag team titles." And obviously Tony Khan, being the people pleaser, booking those genius matches, they're all like, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So next up is our 3-way tag team match. Winner faces FTR for the world tag team titles. Will that be at Forbidden Door, or will it be earlier? We'll have to find out. But in a decent match, 78, nice. The Lucha Brothers come out on top. Of course they do. Well, we say of course, it could have been any of these three because they're all great. The Acclaimed and Chris Jericho and Jake Hager lose in 15:29 when Penta pins Anthony Bowens with the assisted Fear Factor. So in terms of ring work, Ray Phoenix was head and shoulders above everyone else. Let's see how bad Jericho was. 55, he wasn't the worst of the bunch. Caster 57, Bowens 64, Hager 50, Jericho 55, and then Ray Phoenix 86 and Penta 73. Nice. Jericho was really off his game, so he probably could have done better. And then just looking at all the bonuses, love that. And Ray Phoenix came out looking great. So your new number one contenders, the Lucha Brothers, Penta L0 and Ray Phoenix in a 78 match. We've had some good matches today. Following this, we have got Hikaru Shida, one-on-one action against Yuka Sakazaki. Although, as Yuka's making her way to the ring, she is viciously attacked by Hikaru Shida, with Britt Baker following slowly behind. She's thrown into the barricade, she's hit with a kendo stick, and she's ultimately just put out on the ramp. So it seems like this match might not be happening. It says Hikaru Shida's using subtle mannerisms to hint a heel turn. I don't think it's subtle, my dude. I think she's gone full heel, and it was a complete success. So Hikaru Shida is a bad bitch now. Following this, we do have Hikaru Shida makes her way to the ring, leaving Yuka Sakazaki behind her. As we said, Britt Baker was following loosely behind. It seems like they're a little unit now after attacking Jamie Hayter last week, which should have been their heel turn. But now, this is it. So in a segment, Britt Baker explains why her and Shida did what they did. And essentially, Britt was just saying, Jamie is untrustworthy. She used me because I am one of the biggest female stars in AEW. Getting a bit cocky here, Britt Baker. So I am the leader in a way of the women's locker room, and Jamie saw an opportunity to latch onto me and use that momentum to carry her to the world title scene, in which she won. And I'm just a little bit sick of it, because when I needed backup and help countless times over the last few weeks, Jamie seemed to either not be there or be there a little bit late. Whereas since Hikaru Shida has returned, she has been there every second in a heartbeat. And that is what you need in a partner, a friend. And Jamie's not that. So we were sick of it, and we just took matters into our own hands. So, Jamie Hayter is now on her own. So yeah, a full heel turn here from Britt Baker. Probably not going to go well by doing back-to-back heel turns, but I mean, she's got enough star power and skills. This isn't going to hurt her too much. Yep. Too many of your recent turns have been shocks with little build-up. Don't care. I think the shocks are the best, so it didn't go down well, but that's fine. She's heel. She'll build it up. 67 segment. Pretty good. Well done, Britt. So yeah, we seem to be... Jamie's just got this big target on her back, because I'm sure the likes of like Toni Storm, who's gone solo, she probably wants to carve out a world title opportunity. The Outcasts, even though they're on a separate band, they're not a fan of Hayter. So Hayter's kind of on her own at the moment. So sucks to be her, although she is world champion, so there's a bonus. Moving on to this, we actually head to our main event. This show has flown by, in my opinion. And it is, probably should have announced this earlier, Konosuke Takeshita defending his TNT title against Jungle Boy Jack Perry. So that is our main event tonight. Let's see what happens. Oh, 75. Wow. Where are these match rating coming from out of nowhere? That made no sense, did it? But in a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Takeshita defeats Jack Perry in 15 minutes with the Wall of Takeshita. And he makes defense number 1 since winning against Powerhouse Hobbs at Double or Nothing. Jack Perry put in a great performance of 62, and Takeshita just getting better and better every time we see him with a 74. And this match got the crowd buzzing. 75 overall. That is how we end our show, although we have another post-show segment, which I'm really enjoying doing these. So anything that happens post-show will either be like a dark match just to kind of do whatever, or it will be like a YouTube, Twitter exclusive, like, oh, after the show this happened or whatever. So we have a final Twitter post-show segment here where Miro is backstage, kind of, super happy about his win. Him and CJ, kissing, hugging, whatever. And they bump into Coughlin backstage. And Miro's like, great match, you're going to go far, kid. And Coughlin just says, yeah, I think we'll go good. We'll go far as a team. Like, what do you say? And Miro kind of looks at CJ, and CJ kind of, maybe it could work, like similar styles. They're both like bruisers, strong, quite intimidating. And Miro goes, maybe we can work something out, and just kind of pats Coughlin on the shoulder, and him and CJ leave. So we could see a little team here between Coughlin and Miro in the future, which I think is quite an exciting prospect. So Miro did well through this. CJ Perry, excellent acting, because she is an actor in real life. And CJ Perry's getting even better at her gimmick. That ravishing woman. But that finishes our show completely. Let's see how we did. 78, nice. I mean, it wasn't going to be the barn burner that was 85 last week, which I think was a slight anomaly. But 78 is decent for kind of what we had. Really good matches. I know that obviously 62 and 63 don't seem great, but like very mid-cardy. This is like mid-card and a jobber effectively when we look at ratings, so an opener. This was a great match as well. I didn't expect this to be 78, and the main event 75 was also very, very good. And then obviously Bryan Danielson is Bryan Danielson, and Blake Christian is also Blake Christian. We love Blake Christian. But yeah, great numbers all around. 78, awesome. Let's just jump straight into AEW Collision. Okay, and we are here for AEW Collision, and unlike AEW Dynamite, we've got some backstage incidents. Let's take a look. Okay, these seem to be pretty straightforward. QT passing on Psychology to Anna Jay and Psychology to Jade, and then it looks like Thunder Rosa is the protege of Charlotte and Robin Renegade. Who knew? So more Psychology and microphone tips. Nice, cool. The Renegades are alright. I'm keeping them around for now because they're like obviously a natural tag team, and also I don't know, they've slowly been getting better. Like I pay attention to numbers, but yeah, apart from that, there's nothing else to look at. Let's just head straight into Saturday Night Collision, and this is our first pre-show of the match. And was it the first pre-show match of Dynamite that? Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I think it was. The first pre-show of Dynamite was Butcher and the Blade versus TMDK, and the Butcher received got a broken toe. And in this match, Colton Gunn gets a broken finger. Or maybe there's a pre-show match tag team curse going around. But nonetheless, the Guns did defeat Pretty Picture in 11:50 when Austin Gunn pinned Peter Avalon. 40 rated match. Was probably hampered by that broken finger, which sucks. I think Colton is this one. 50-50 chance, and I fucked it up. But yeah, 40 pre-show match. Just guns get a win. Broken finger, that's fine. And in another pre-show match, Anna Jay gets another win. Oh, JAS who? And she defeats Diamante with a scissor kick. So Anna Jay with 39, okay. Diamante with a 40 in a 40 rated match. We've got one final pre-show match, which is Ricky Starks, recently exiled and kicked out of the Elite, the temporary Elite. So he gets a match against Swerve Strickland in the pre-show and gets a decent win. Swerve with a 62, which is very impressive. And Ricky with a 57, but Ricky does get the win with the spear. And just one final announcement before we head into the show. Renee announces on Twitter and all the social medias that tonight we will have the Elite main eventing the show. That is Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. So Kenny said he'd make it up to him, and they are now teaming up in the main event tonight, which I believe is against The Firm, which is Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. But before all that, we've got an entire show to get through, so let's head to our opening match, which is a title match. Orange Cassidy is defending his international title against Roderick Strong. And in a good wrestling match, with a decent reaction from the crowd, Orange Cassidy retains against Roderick Strong in 15-50 with the beach break. This is now defense number 19 of the AEW International title. Orange Cassidy with a 69, Roderick Strong with a 67, that's pretty good from him. And a 72 rating overall. Great. This did a little bit better than I thought it would, so as long as it meets my expectations, I'm happy, and I'm happy with this one. But post-match, as Orange Cassidy is celebrating, Jay White's music hits, and he comes out with Keith Lee and Juice Robinson, and doesn't really talk at Orange Cassidy. He kind of just talks to Keith and Juice as if Orange isn't even there, and he just says, we're called Bullet Club Gold. Maybe it's about time we had some gold of our own. And then as he's talking to Keith Lee and Juice, all three of them just kind of look towards the ring where Orange Cassidy is holding his international title. So it looks like Jay White or Keith Lee and Juice or Juice Robinson have got their eyes on the AEW International Championship. And Orange has just stood there and just gives a little thumbs up to him. Why not? 72 rate segment, great. Jay White's awesome on the mic, and he's only going to get better, especially with Keith Lee and Juice around him. Juice is a bit of a wet wipe, let's be honest. No, actually, Juice is great in real life. In real life, I love Juice Robinson. I think he's really, really good in the ring. Like, when he was in New Japan and he was a face, he had some really good matches. Rock Hard Juice is a little bit annoying, but it's still the same Juice at the end of the day. Anyways, I've said Juice too much. Let's move on to our next match, which is a tag team match requested by Chris Statlander. She wanted a piece of Nyla Rose in the ring, but didn't get it one-on-one, which is weird. So we have Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale, who she's formed a backstage friendship with. They defeat Nyla Rose and Layla Gray, which is the beautiful woman that follows around Jade Cargill. She is a wrestler. Yeah, who'd have thought? So they win in 11:39 when Chris Statlander pins Layla Gray with the Big Bang Theory. Layla Gray was the weak link. I thought that would be the case. So Willow with a 45, Chris with a 52, Layla 32, and Nyla with a 56. Willow was off her game and still got a 45. Nice. 53 rated match overall. That's a lot better than I thought it would be. Post-match, obviously Chris and Willow get the win. Chris grabs the mic immediately and says, I demand a title rematch. I was screwed out of winning the TBS title at Double or Nothing. I want my match. And just as she's saying that, you can see Nyla Rose in the background praying, or, what's it called when you stalking her prey? There we go. And she tries to jump Chris, but Chris just evades out the way, rolls out of the ring, and just says, "You're not going to get me this time, Nyla." And she just drops there. And she's like, "Jade, me and you, let's do this." And just throws the mic. And her and Willow make their way up the ramp. So Chris is defiant. She wants that rematch against Jade Cargill, and who knows if we're going to get it. Moving on, we have a match with our Casino Battle Royale winner, Daniel Garcia, and he's facing Trent Beretta in a one-on-one match. Let's see how this plays out. 61. Okay, not bad. Daniel Garcia with a 61, which is pretty good. Trent Beretta got a 49. This match got the crowd buzzing, apparently, because we all have a bit of Daniel Garcia, don't we? Keep in mind, Daniel Garcia does have that world title opportunity as and when he decides he wants it, but he must announce it beforehand in order for the match to be booked officially. There's no running and cashing in, taking advantage. It's going to be a straight up one-on-one. They're both sides ready. You know the deal. I need to stop explaining it. Daniel Garcia gets a win, so his momentum continues. It's Rampage Garcia no more. It's just sexy Daniel Garcia. And post-match, we get an appearance from MJF. Keep in mind that world champions are currently brandless, and they only return to their brand once they have lost their belt. So MJF just makes a brief appearance, congratulates Daniel Garcia on his win, and in a slightly, nice way, he says that he's looking forward to as and when Daniel Garcia chooses to face MJF, and it comes across, nice, but you can also tell there's a layer of cockiness because, Daniel Garcia's got until All Out to cash in, so he can do that whenever. And MJF is clearly hinting that he's going to be champion and stay champion for a very long time. But great segment, the surprise of MJF lifts the crowd, gets everyone hot and crazy, and, gives Daniel Garcia a little bit of a rub because, the world champion is recognizing him. Great segment. I will take that 100. Why wouldn't I? Following this, we've got a non-title match between FTR and the Kingdom. 70, nice. So in a decent match, FTR defeat the Kingdom in 14:22 when Cash Wheeler wins with the big rig. Don't worry, there's no surprise appearance from the Lucha Brothers. They are not on Collision, so they cannot appear on Collision. But yeah, FTR, they signal, that these belts are staying with them. Post-match, they're pointing at the belts and they're pointing at themselves going, Sal belt, we're not losing this anytime soon. And mid-match, I like to think that Dax kind of did the zero miedo just to take the piss a little bit. But yeah, Kingdom, they always put in great matches. They're never going to be, top of the world beaters, but they're pretty consistent. Wheeler with a 6'9", Howard with 70, and then high 50s for the rest. And obviously Maria does great work at ringside. Lovely. 70. Moving swiftly on, we head backstage where Daniel Garcia is walking down the corridor, just undoing the tape on his wrists, making his way back to the locker room when he's stopped by a very random person, and that's Mercedes Moné. She just stops and she says, Daniel, nice moves out there. It kind of gives him a little rub on the chest, and Daniel's kind of just like, thank you. And they just share a little smile. Mercedes gives him a little wink and walks off. So I wouldn't mind a compliment from Mercedes Moné. I wouldn't mind a compliment from Daniel Garcia. Whatever this is, I am all here for it. So who knows? And the keen-eyed ones here will see that the new wave storyline has started with this segment. Whatever that is, we'll have to wait and see. 55, fine. Cool. Let's move on from this slightly bizarre segment. And we are still backstage where Tony Schiavone is with Anna Jay. So Anna Jay obviously picked up a great win in the pre-show, and last week I believe she also got a win. And she basically just says the Outcasts said that they were looking for members. Since the split, I'm undefeated. So Outcasts, hit me up. So Anna Jay seems to want to be a member of the Outcasts of Saraya and Ruby Soho. So we'll have to see if they answer her call. But Anna Jay in the Outcasts, I can kind of see it, especially in real life with her recent, the tear makeup that she does. It's a little bit goth and outcasty, I guess. But yeah, Anna Jay clearly doesn't like to be on her own. So he improvised well, but she did bad because she was following a script and Tony wasn't. I thought I ticked them both as scripts. Clearly I didn't. Sorry, Anna. 40 rating, not bad, not great. We move on. We get a nice little video from Tony Khan, good old TK, with his terrible segments. But he has granted that rematch between Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill, and there is a special stipulation. And that stipulation is, because I couldn't fit it in here, or he's promised. He said to Chris, he was like, I promised there will be no external involvement from Layla Gray, Nyla Rose, or anyone at all. It will be just you and Jade Cargill. And in order to guarantee that, you will be facing Jade Cargill for the TBS Championship inside a steel cage. Yes, that's right. Next week on AEW Collision, it is Jade Cargill, Chris Statlander, cage match for the TBS World Championship. Annoying that it's a pretty terrible segment, and let's be honest, it's probably going to be a shit match because it's Jade Cargill, but nonetheless, very exciting. Moving on, we have the main event. It's here, the main event time. The Elite versus the Firm. Let's see what happens. 67. Oh, okay. In a decent match, the Elite, so Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, defeat the Firm, Ethan Page, Big Bill, and Lee Moriarty in 14-18 when Kenny Omega pins Big Bill with the V trigger. Let's look at these performances. 79 from Kenny, and then low 70s from Matt and Nick. And yeah, I didn't think that they would be great, but there wasn't really any other threesome, and I didn't want to just have random people lose. So they seem to be happy. The Elite, Kenny, Matt, and Nick, they're celebrating together. It's all Gucci. The Bucks, jump out of the ring. Kenny's kind of not done celebrating because it's Kenny freaking Omega. And it may be a bit silly that he stayed in the ring all on his lonesome, because Ricky Starks attacks Kenny Omega. He runs in out of nowhere through the crowd, bangs Kenny on the back of the head with a chair and just beats him down. And just before the Bucks can run back down the ramp to help him, Ricky's out of that ring like a whippet. Boy is fast as hell. He's out of the ring, he's over the barricade, and he's in the crowd just like, what's up? Like, what are you going to do? And yeah, seems like Ricky has turned heel. Probably going to get a bad reaction. Yeah, who cares? Turn went badly, that's fine. Ricky Starks, bad heel. Yeah, Ricky has turned on the Elite. Well, they technically turned on him, and he's just getting a little bit of revenge. So is he really a heel? But I can't imagine Kenny is too pleased with this, so we'll have to see what happens between these two, or even more, because the Bucks weren't there to stop Kenny, or to protect Kenny. Yeah, and that is how we end our show. Let's see how we did. 75, decent, a lot better than I thought it'd be, to be fair. This was a kind of not underwhelming, but an under the radar card. We're just trying to build a few storylines. I feel like all the big storylines are sat on the other brand for now, especially because Darby Allin's injured. We can't really push this Darby thing too far. But yeah, nonetheless, I'll take this. Very good. Got some real interesting things. So it looks like Jay White and Bullet Club Gold have their eyes on Orange Cassidy's international title. Chris Statlander gets her rematch in a steel cage against Jade Cargill. MJF recognizes Daniel Garcia. FTR building momentum for whenever they face the Lucha Brothers. And Mercedes Moné also recognizes Daniel Garcia. Anna Jay and the Outcasts. That could be fun. And then, yeah, the Elite getting their match together, although not ending as sweet as they want it to, with Ricky Starks interfering and attacking Kenny. But that wraps up this episode, everyone. Please let me know what you think, and how you feel about what's been happening. We might start seeing some Japanese talent over the next couple of weeks, because I need to build something and book something. So I'm going to go analyze their roster and see what's going on. But thank you very much. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, share if you want to. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.